To you by Republic Bank, title sponsor and official bank of the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League.
How we play. Yeah.
All right, everybody, so welcome back. Well, he is Australian, so cricket is his first love, we think, and having won 2 Caribbean Premier League titles with Trinbago Knight Riders in 2015 and St Kitts Nevis in 2021, Simon Helmot, the St Kitts Nevis Patriots head coach, has an appetite for success, and his team have always supplied great tenacity and determination. Making his return to the CPL, the forward-thinking Australian coach will seek to inspire St Kitts Nevis Patriots to their second success this season, and with the opening matches carded for St Kitts, he will want a good start. Simon, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, great to be back.
Of course. Well, talking about you being back, having won the CPL title in 2021 with St Kitts Nevis and leaving in 2022, how does it feel to return to the team?
Oh, look, it's always great to return to the Caribbean, and as you said, we had some great success in 2021, and we're looking forward to replicating that. But I suppose my fondest memories of when I first arrived in the Caribbean right back in 2014 in Trinidad, joining forces with my good friend Dwayne Bravo, and we had some great success during that time. And I have really fond memories of about lifting the cup in 2015 with Dwayne. It was actually with Dwayne that we joined forces again with his time at St Kitts in 2021. But what we do know, the CPL is a very tough competition. Every team is very good. Obviously, the Guyana team are the reigning champs, so they're the team to beat.
Yeah. Let's look a little bit at as to what you're seeing maybe looking the same when compared to some years ago, and what differences are you expecting or are you seeing this time around, of course, 3 years on from your last CPL?
Oh, look, I think the game's changed even more. Batters are more aggressive.
And finally buying into tournaments such as CPL? Simon? All right, I think that we have lost him. Is he back? All right. Okay, Simon, are you hearing me?
So, I've got you now. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, I was just saying, of course, you know that we in the West Indies, we would have had a long history with cricket, but more so Test cricket. And I think that over the years, we in the Caribbean were a bit iffy, looking to see how well tournaments such as the CPL would do in the region. You think that we in the Caribbean are finally warming up to tournaments such as the CPL?
Oh, look, I think it's a great credit to the CPL, West Indies Cricket, and also the CPL itself to go through the test of time. I think, we're 12th or 13th year. It's a fantastic competition. Nearly every experienced and quality international player has come over here and played in this competition, and it's certainly helped and developed and grown the T20 game, no doubt here, but also for the Caribbean team. I think obviously balancing the T20 format and the different franchise competitions around the globe, but still maintaining a focus on the red ball game, what we'd call the more traditional game, is really so important. And I think every country is grappling with that. I know in Australia, I know in England, and obviously here in the Caribbean, how ways in which we can get both the white ball and the red ball to complement each other. T20 cricket's obviously been a staple diet here in the Caribbean, and we know in all the T20 franchise competitions around the world, there's so many quality West Indian players playing in all those competitions. But for us coaches and no doubt administrators, how do we balance both to make sure that we can be successful in running competitions in our own countries, but also making sure that we keep developing and growing the longest form of the game? And I'm not sure for you, but for me, it's certainly a game which I truly love. I grew up watching and being
playing in this Patriot squad.
Yeah, look, it's a really interesting question. When we first started playing T20 cricket many moons ago, we always thought it was going to be a young person's game and the death of the spin bowler. Well, it's actually been quite the opposite. It's actually been a game where the more experienced cricketer has had more success just being able to cope with pressure. So it's a great opportunity for the younger player to come in and grow and learn and develop and hopefully find a spot in the team, be nurtured by the more senior players, and I suppose try to give them a softer spot in the team to ensure they have more chance of success. But yeah, as you mentioned, those names, Ned Badasi, we've got Jod Gooley, who's come from Trinidad, who's going to be playing with us this season. He was with the Patriots 2 seasons ago. Tournament which happened just before the CPL for us coaches and owners to identify talent, and a great initiative of the CPL to make sure that every single team must have a breakout or a young player playing in every side. So that's the mandatory in every team, and I think that forces teams to want to have to play obviously young players, and no doubt it's going to help with their individual growth and hopefully growth with young to make sure that they can eventually become that player. I remember back in 2014 when the Trinidad team was called Red Steel. We had a young guy, Nicholas Puran, and he's a really confident, cocky young fellow. And I was thinking, wow, this guy's got some real skills. Well, look at that, a decade on, we've seen this guy being a master of his game across the globe. Obviously, I worked with Dwayne Bravo, the Bravo brothers, for many years, and we saw, what their status has been in the game. We have another Trinidadian here in Evan Lewis, who's been now with St Kitts for many, many years, and he has become a real champion of cricket here in the Caribbean for his country, and especially in the white ball game. So I think we're going to keep looking at these youngsters in Ned and Badasi and Gooley and others, about young Boucher, but still to win tournaments, guys like Fletcher, guys like Kyle Mayers, Riley Rousseau from overseas, still important. And just another note on that, I think tournaments are won by your domestic talent here in the Caribbean, more so than maybe any other T20 competition in the world. If you've got your good domestic players performing, if they can have an impact in big moments, then you can have your internationals come in and hopefully complement the side. I think that's where the competition is won and lost.
Yeah. Simon, please stay with us for a few minutes more. We must go to a very short break, everybody. We're coming back.
I'm not sure why it dropped out there. Sorry about that.
All right, everybody, so welcome back. So let's return to a conversation with head of the St Kitts Nevis Patriots, coach Simon Helmot. Simon, thank you very much for staying with us. Simon, I think that you meant to say earlier that St. Lucia, they're the reigning champions, right?
Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for correcting me on that one. I was a year behind. The year before.
Simon, I want to speak a little bit about, because we haven't heard much information about this, and I don't know if you're holding this close to your chest, but who is your captain this time around?
Well, this is going to be an announcement made today. So I cannot tell you categorically, but there's an announcement going to be made today. He's a new player. He's just been playing in the white ball game for the West Indies. He's very tall, and he's from Barbados. That's all I'm telling you.
All right.
Out there, got it.
We take that, Simon. We take that. Simon, but let's look a little bit about the competition, the CPL. And I want to speak a little bit about the contribution of the CPL and the CPL tournament to cricket in the Caribbean, and really as it relates to sharpening and nurturing the skill of the batsman or batswoman or bowler or fielder, however you want to put it, the cricketer.
Yeah, I think there's two parts to this. Firstly, congratulate the CPL and Cricket West Indies for collaborating.
Simon, you heard me?
Yeah, I missed a little bit of that.
Yeah, I'm just
I missed a little
asking.
bit of that question, but
Yeah, the teams that are the
Yep.
other teams that are in your sights as it relates to, let's say, your main competitors, your main threats. I know you're going to tell me all of the teams, but I'll still ask.
oh no, I'm going to be very specific here. Where you're sitting right now, the TKR team are always very strong, and we know that when you've got Byron Pollard and Nicky Puran. My great friend is now a coach, and so we're going to be coaching rivals for the first time, Dwayne Bravo. Every time, Andre Russell, what a legend. So they're just a star-studded side. Guyana have probably been one of the most successful teams during a season without actually winning, only the one championship. But they're such a difficult team to beat. Obviously, the St Lucia's had recent success. So the competition is so tight. Any team in the CPL can beat any other team on any given day, and that's the great part of this competition. You're never quite sure who's going to be there in the final dance. So all we want to concentrate on is facing the Antigua Falcons in our first round. Do our best to try and overcome 5 games here in 10 days here at Warner Park in St Kitts. If we can get some early wins, that can certainly help shape our season.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about how important is it in getting a good start with the first round of matches being played in St Kitts.
Oh, look, it's massive because it develops some momentum. We've got an obligation to our fans too here in St Kitts. They've been starved of some success. And then nothing would give me greater joy than seeing some smiles on the faces of the people in the stands and on the bank there at Warner Park, seeing the St Kitts Nevis team getting back and winning some competitions. In 21, we won the title. In 22, we won the 60, which was that T10 competition. But since then, it's been lean pickings here at St Kitts. So for us, if we play all the 5 teams here, like I said, in 10 days. So for us, it's about preparation. It's about being fresh, about being ready. But as soon as a team comes over and plays us here in St Kitts, we want it to be hostile but respectful environment to make sure that we can get the job done.
Simon, let's speak a little bit about rain. Is rain a concern for you? Of course, you know we are in the rainy season here in the Caribbean, which can also affect games. So what sort of approach will your team be taking to ensure that if the rains play a factor, that you aren't affected badly?
Yeah, look, we just try and control what we need to control. We can't control the weather. There's a couple of rain bands came across the other night at the ground, but beautiful, balmy, warm weather here in St Kitts, one of my bits what I love about this country. So we do know that rain can be a factor. It usually blows over pretty quick here on the island. But look, these things you can't control. The things that we can control is our physical preparation, our strategic understanding, our opposition analysis. But most importantly, this game's played louder. It's played with enthusiasm. It's played with joy. I want our players to go and enjoy the game, make sure they show and showcase their skills, be really confident, and I think the success will look after itself. Yeah.
And Simon, that's a great point that you have made there, because I want you to directly speak to the fans, to the persons who would want to see these games. Of course, it's promoted as the biggest party in sport. But let's talk a little bit about the excitement at the games. All right, have we lost Simon? Is Simon there? Yeah, go ahead, Simon.
Just parts of being in the Caribbean. Yeah, I've got you. Yeah, I think it's one of the most exciting parts of being in the Caribbean is the fans, the fan engagement, the enthusiasm, and the joy that the game brings. And I know the player want to put on a show. You said it's the biggest part of sport. Yet it's a good downtime in between matches for players and staff. But at the games themselves, just pure entertainment, pure excitement. We're seeing some of the best cricketers in all of the world in T20 cricket here right now in our region. So we're playing in Antigua, Barbados, Guyana, St Lucia, okay. But most importantly here in St Kitts and in Trinidad, just to make sure that we put on a great show and I'm sure fans, I hope many fans come and support and see some of the best cricketers, not only domestically, but internationally in the whole world.
Yeah, Simon, it was a pleasure speaking with you. So, Simon, I suspect the goal here, the objective is for your team to bring the trophy home, right?
It certainly is, but I look forward to seeing all my good buddies in Trinidad when we get back there in a few weeks' time. But yet, all our eyes are on here in St Kitts. Great to speak to you.
Yeah. Simon, it was a pleasure speaking with you, and we wish you and your team all the best. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, everybody. We are going to a very short break. We're coming back.